Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi, and today we're going to be taking a look at two new custom figures from Stan Solo. On the left we have Jabba's dancer Oola, and on the right we have Princess Leia Organa in her slave outfit. Now these were figures that Kenner never created, so Stan Solo has gone down the custom route and created some custom figures from scratch. These are available both as loose figures and also on these fantastic looking custom cards, so let's take a closer look at them. First up we have Oola here, who appears very briefly in Return of the Jedi. She's seen early on in Jabba's palace before he drops her into the pit along with the Rancor. So you briefly see her, and you can see the image here that's been used on the card is Oola fighting with Jabba, pulling on the chains that he uses to keep her in check. This is, as I say, a completely custom figure. This is one that Kenner never produced. So what Stan Solo has done is made a complete custom figure. You can see that there, and then carded it so that it looks like a Kenner figure. So on the front we have this lovely image, and on the back, if we turn it over, you can see this is a 79 back version of the card, so it shows all the figures that you would have been able to get at the time. And then there is a slight change at the bottom to the copyright information, because I know people like to see that. So you can see there that it clearly says Stan Solo, although I think you would be hard pushed to think this is not a custom figure, because as I say, this figure was never created. I really do like the look of the cards and the feel of the cards that Stan Solo makes. They feel exactly like vintage Kenner cards. They've got the same sort of weight and thickness, and I think the print quality that they use is fantastic. It just looks so much like the original cards. So you can see this is the Jedi logo, and I like the colours that have been chosen. I like the fact that we've got Oola, who is essentially a green character, on this sort of lime green background, and her nameplate is also lime green there at the top. But really what we need to do is take a closer look at the figure, because you can't quite see her in the packaging here. You can see that she looks great, but actually when you see them in hand, they are really fantastic. So let's take a closer look at the Oola figure. And here we have the loose version of Oola. As you can see, it's a lovely figure. It really does look like how she looks in the movie. So you've got these sort of green tentacles coming out of her head. She has the same articulation as a vintage Kenner figure, so you can rotate her arms up and down. You can rotate her head, and then her legs move as well. These are a little bit stiff on this figure, but it's essentially a brand new figure, so you'd expect it to be like that. With a bit of play, that would wear in. And there is so much detail going on. If I bring it in, you can see her face there. It really does actually look like the actress who played Oola. There's a nice amount of detailing there on her sort of headband. You've got a little bit of lipstick going on, and then some nice detail around the eyes. She's got a necklace on, and this rather ornate sort of, it almost feels a bit like chainmail, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be netting or something like that on her outfit. I would guess the reason that Kenner never made this figure is it's a little bit on the sexy side for a child's toy, because there's quite a revealing outfit. You can see quite a lot of detail going on there down the sides. But it is absolutely fantastic, and it really does, as I say, feel like a Kenner figure. I was just checking to see if there was a copyright marking or anything on it, because I know on the other figures that Stan Solo makes, he puts an SS on the side somewhere. I can't actually see one on this one, so maybe there isn't. But if I go down to the feet, you can see how much detailing there is on those. She even has individual toenails painted on. It's just that sort of level of detail that I like on the Stan Solo figures that he makes. They just look and feel fantastic. So as I say, you can get this version loose like this, or you can get the carded version that I showed you earlier. She doesn't come with any accessories, because essentially she doesn't have any accessories. I would suggest that you could actually just put this with the Jabba Dyer set and use the neck restraint to put that round her neck. That might look quite cool. Or I may even actually make a little custom one so that she could have one just sort of hanging off with a bit of chain. But otherwise, it really is a lovely figure. I think that one is exceptionally good. Now let's move on to Slave Leia. Now we move on to Princess Leia, which is available in two different carded versions. First up we have the Return of the Jedi version. So this has an image of Leia on the front on the deck of the sail barge, and you can see here the figure really does look nice. I'll show you this in sort of close up later on when we look at the loose figure. So you can see you get the figure, and you get the sort of weapon there on the side, which is the same weapon that she is holding on the front of the card. As I mentioned with the Oola review, the cards do feel fantastic. They've got the right sort of feel and weight to them, and the print on the front looks fantastic. I think this is a really nice image, and I love the sort of orange sort of behind the figure and the orange on the name tag there. If we turn it over again, you can see this is a 79 back version of the card, and as with the Oola card, under the logo there it does say Stan Solo, but as this was a figure that was never released, you're hard pushed to say that anyone was going to be sort of mistaken by it. It's one of those figures people always say that they're surprised that Kenner never made one back in the day, but I can see why they didn't, because as with the Oola figure, it's a little bit on the sexy side. So Leia in a Bush outfit is sort of one level. This, I think, wouldn't sort of get past any sort of marketing department, which is why it was never made. So anyway, that is the Jedi card. And then we have the Power of the Force version. So this comes with the collector's coin. You can take a look there. You can see that there is Leia on the front of the collector's coin. It's the same figure, just a different card. So here we have Leia sat in front of Jabba with the neck restraint in place. Again, it's a fantastic image. The colouring on the back of the card here is nice and red. So I've got a red flash behind there, and the nameplate is in red on the bottom. If we turn it over, you can see this is the 92 back card. So it says 92 here. And again, if you're concerned, it does say Stan Solo down at the bottom. These cards always amaze me. I've got quite a few of them now, and I think they look fantastic. They're really nice to display like this. It's nice to have the figure with all of the artwork. All of the cards come unpunched as well, so you can see how the little tab hole is filled in. They just look absolutely fantastic. If I bring in Oola as well, you can see how good all three of these look together. Imagine those in your display. They just look fantastic. Now we come onto the figure, and here she is out of the packet. As you can see, it really does look very nice indeed. If I zoom in there, you can see that still looks like Princess Leia. It's sort of based on the other heads that were released for Princess Leia. I think they've done a remarkable job. And then you've just got the rest of her outfit, which is absolutely fantastic. There's so much detail going on. Considering there's not much of an outfit, she's got all the details on her arms and on the sort of the bikini. And then you've got this lovely fabric cape, which really sort of suits this era of the figure, because this figure would have been released for Return of the Jedi when they were doing a lot of fabric capes. So that works really nicely. She comes with a weapon as well, which clearly, as you see, holds in her hand very nicely. So you get that weapon, which I think it's the same one as Yak Face or someone like that. I know other skiff guards use that. But just look at the figure. It's got so much detail going on. The eyes are really nicely printed, and there is just a little bit of lipstick on there. You can just about make that out, but the lips are slightly pinker than the rest of the face. And she's got the braid that goes into her hair that sort of whips over her shoulder. It really does look fantastic. It's very nice to see how these are constructed as well. This one's obviously, because we've got the little bit of fabric here, has got an extra bit of construction. So this back plate and front plate are stuck on separately to hold the fabric in place. I won't lift up the skirt particularly because it's not been painted underneath, so it's just sort of flesh coloured under there. Looks a little bit rude for the sort of videos that I put on my channel, but you can see the boots there again are really nicely painted. This figure is a figure that I think many people will want to stick with their sort of Jabba. It's just a figure everybody has been asking for. Now, I know there are some other makers doing their own versions of Slave Leia. I looked at one of them and I didn't think much of it. The quality of the figure doesn't look as good as this. When Stan Solo does these figures, he puts a lot of effort into them, making sure the plastic is right and the colouring is right. The other one I saw looked a little bit translucent. It looked like it was sort of fairly cheaply made. These ones have always made to the highest quality. So I would say certainly this is the one to get if you want to add it to your collection. I just think it looks lovely. I'm going to bring in Oola as well so you can see the two together. Imagine these two standing around the Jabba dive set with a few other sort of skiff guards around. That's going to look like such a cool set, and I think that's how I'm going to be displaying these two. One thing I can say about the stuff that Stan Solo produces, every time I get a new one and a new version of the Cardi figures, they always impress me. They're always done to such high standard. They really do look absolutely fantastic. It's hard to describe how good they look until you sort of see them in the flesh. The cards feel right, the figures feel right, and just the whole way they are put together reminds you of those sort of days back in the late 70s and early 80s when you would have been able to buy these. The attention to detail is really fantastic. I'll be putting links in the description as to where you can get these. I will also be linking to the Stan Solo social media site, so if you want to check out some of the other things he's done, which he's done quite a lot. I will also actually put links to all of the other videos I've done reviewing the figures that he's made over the years, because they are well worth checking out. If you've enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.